On the 8th of December 2007, Ricky Hatton faced Floyd Mayweather at the MGM Grand Arena, Las Vegas. Only two men in the ring had gloves on, but Ricky Hatton didn't come alone. He brought an army. 40,000 British fans crossed the Atlantic to support Manchester's favourite son. They were convinced that they were about to see Floyd Mayweather's arrogance finally stripped away. Hatton arrived undefeated, 43-0. Ricky Hatton fought with the excitement of a child lacing up his boxing gloves for the first time. The only difference? He could do it at world level and win. Relentless pressure, body shots, and no backward steps. The belief was simple. Ricky Hatton would break through Floyd's defense and the hero would return home victorious. That isn't what happened though. Floyd won by a devastating TKO in the 10th round. A controlled, dominant performance. Hatton was rarely allowed to impose himself. So why, after what should have been an embarrassment, a wasted journey for 40,000 fans, in a sport that loves to tear down its heroes quicker than any other, why is Ricky Hatton still loved in Britain more than almost any other fighter? After all, Britain has produced bigger stars, more technically gifted boxers, and fighters with cleaner records. But as the crowds of Northern England will tell you, there's only one Ricky Hatton. And to understand why Ricky Hatton remains one of Britain's most beloved sons, we have to go back. Richard John Hatton was born on the 6th of October 1978 in Manchester. We have a saying in Britain, the heart and soul of England can be found in the pub, and rather poetically, Ricky's parents owned a pub and the family lived in the flat above. This upbringing no doubt influenced his down-to-earth personality and his ability to connect with the British public. Ricky first stepped into a boxing gym in 1988, aged just 10. His father recalls speaking with a coach whilst Ricky first hit the bag. The pair were astounded by the power that this young man was able to produce with absolutely no training. It was clear that this boy was special. Ricky was a natural-born athlete. Before committing to boxing, he excelled at football and had trials for both Rochdale and Manchester City. At age 14, Ricky attended the second fight between Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank. Young Hatton was in awe of the reception that these two warriors received from 44,000 fans. With this experience, he was hooked. The young man wanted the love of the British public, and he would soon experience this more than any other champion before him. But first, he had to get there. Ricky Hatton built an outstanding amateur record of 73 wins and 7 losses. He would win 7 British titles during this time, however his amateur career would be cut short. Ricky earned his place to represent his country at the 1996 Youth World Boxing Championships. He was eliminated in the semi-finals. 4 of the 5 judges awarded the contest to Hatton, but under the scoring rules, Hatton was defeated as the 5th judge gave the match to his opponent by 16 points. The judge was later found to have accepted a bribe. Ricky Hatton was done with the amateur game. He turned professional aged 18. He would join forces with Billy Graham at the Moss Side, Manchester. The two would make an unstoppable force and soon tear their way from the gloomy streets of Manchester to the bright lights of Las Vegas. Ricky Hatton wasn't created by a marketing team. There was no hype and there was no air of inevitability. He just looked like a lad that you'd see in a pub on a Friday night, because sometimes you did, and that mattered. In an era of pristine athletes and carefully managed careers, Hatton felt real. He wasn't polished, he wasn't distant, and he wasn't pretending. He just fought like a working class lad who knew exactly where he came from and never tried to escape it. Ricky earned the fan-given nickname Ricky Fatton. The nickname was well earned, as he was known to gain more than 10 kilos between fights due to his love of food and beer. Hatton fully embraced the nickname. It was part of his identity that endeared him to fans. He was often seen enjoying full English breakfasts and pints of Guinness when he wasn't in training. He would regularly be seen in pub quizzes and dart nights in the streets of Manchester, even at the height of his fame. He was once asked in an interview on a British talk show why he gained so much weight. In the typical Ricky Hatton style, he simply responded, "Because I've got a lot on my plate at the moment." This took nothing away from his love and dedication to boxing. He just loved one thing more: life. And the British public fell in love with him. Ricky's boxing style mirrored his personality, a relentless pressure with no backward steps. He may have been lovable outside the ring, but inside, he was terrifying. He didn't try to outdance opponents, he tried to break them. They could throw their best work at him, and this relentless machine would keep charging forward, emotionless. Inside fighting isn't glamorous, it's exhausting, and it hurts. And that's why fans loved it. His style demanded an insane cardio base and will, showing that despite his lifestyle between fights, there were no shortcuts. Watching Hatton was like watching effort made visible. He made you feel that you weren't watching talent, you were simply watching hard work. He embodied everything the British public seek to be: a stiff upper lip, keep calm, and carry on. Every round felt earned, and every win felt shared. On the 5th of June 2005, Hatton faced Tszyu. Tszyu was widely regarded as one of the top pound-for-pound boxers in the world. He boasted a near-perfect record of 31-1. Tszyu was elite, disciplined, and feared. Hatton was the heavy underdog for this fight. He was supposed to come up short, brave, but not quite good enough. Instead, Hatton overwhelmed him. They say that boxing is the loneliest of all sports, but this was not true for Ricky Hatton. Every move by Hatton was cheered. We were not watching our favourite boxer, we were watching one of our own. Tszyu has later stated that the sound of Manchester Arena that night still haunts him. He had never experienced a champion so embraced by his people. Tszyu had no chance. When looking in the eyes of Tszyu this night, you could be forgiven for believing that he was in a war zone rather than a boxing ring. Like a soldier suffering from shell shock, he was frozen by the relentless artillery of Ricky Hatton. Tszyu failed to answer the bell in the 12th round, simply being overwhelmed by the young Mancunian and his army of fans. The victory announced Ricky's entry to the upper echelons of the world boxing scene. The victory was regarded as one of the best victories in British boxing history. That night, Hatton didn't just win a world title, he became a symbol. Proof that belief, pressure, and sheer bloody mindedness can conquer pedigree. So here we return to the beginning of our story. The heart of Ricky and the 40,000 screaming fans he brought with him was simply not enough to penetrate the sheer perfection of Floyd Mayweather. Hatton didn't hide from greatness, he ran at it again and again. Hatton didn't change his style, even when it came to fighting one of the greatest fighters of all time. He still came at Floyd like that same child lacing up gloves for the very first time. For Hatton, victory is only achieved if it's won honestly. Britain doesn't always love perfection, it does, however, always love honesty. Hatton didn't hide from defeat, he stood in the wreckage and swore to rebuild it. Such is the British blood coursing in his veins, it is in our DNA to overcome adversity and come back even stronger. Hatton epitomised this. Losing didn't make him smaller, it made him British. Ricky Hatton bounced back after the Mayweather fight and defended his light welterweight title twice in 2008. On the 2nd of May 2009, Ricky Hatton faced Manny Pacquiao. The pair met in the MGM Grand Arena, Las Vegas. The build-up for this fight was far more respectful compared to the Mayweather fight. Both Hatton and Pacquiao were loved within their own countries. Both populations felt that their athlete spoke and fought for them. This was Ricky's chance to heal from the Mayweather loss in front of the Las Vegas crowd, and in his mind, make up to the fans who made the trip across the Atlantic once more. This did not happen. Instead, Ricky would lose in a devastating manner. He would be knocked down twice in the first round, and knocked down again for a third and final time in the second round. This image may be one of the most haunting in all of sport. Ricky's soul left his body on this night. He would spend 15 years trying to get it back, but ultimately, he would never be able to reclaim it. Ricky would fight just one more time in a comeback attempt in 2012. He lost by KO in the 9th round. This was the last time fans would see Ricky Hatton in the ring. After the bright lights faded, the struggles didn't. Ricky Hatton would at many points in his life state that he could not shift the feeling of letting down the British public in his 2 losses in Las Vegas. Ricky carried 40,000 fans across the world. However, he also carried all of their sorrow. He spoke openly about never being able to reach the heights of boxing again. The young man who would once have his belts carried out by Oasis now felt worthless without an identity. Hatton spoke about these issues openly, painfully, and honestly. He struggled with addiction issues for many years, using substances to attempt to feel what he had lost in boxing. What was striking when researching this video was the amount of interviews Ricky gave stating how much he was struggling. He felt so much guilt over letting his fans down repeatedly. What Ricky never seemed to understand is the British public didn't love him for the glory that he brought us. We loved him because he was one of our own. On the 14th of September 2025, Ricky Hatton was found dead within his home. He had died by suicide. He was survived by both of his parents, his 3 children, and his girlfriend. Britain loves Ricky Hatton because he never acted like he was anyone but himself. It was as if your best mate had made it big time and just happened to be a world champion. He carried fame awkwardly, he carried losses honestly, and he carried himself like a man who knew he was lucky and not entitled. Ricky Hatton didn't make people dream of being perfect. He made them believe that they were allowed to try. In boxing, champions come and go, but now and then, one fighter comes along who belongs to the people. Not because they are perfect, but because they are honest. Ricky Hatton may not be Britain's greatest boxer, but he will always be Britain's champion.